Today's lesson on 4.2 math is using a different form, point slope. So there's a few things we need to keep in mind. One is the slope formula, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This does not go away, so we need that. Okay, that is a staple in the entire chapter. Okay, but for this section, we're going to use a different form other than y equals mx plus b. We're going to use this form. This is called the point slope form. Okay, so make sure you guys are familiar with this. It's way easier. Okay, way easier, but on like the keystones, SATs, it's not really used as much as y equals mx plus b, or the slope-intercept form. So let me show you how much easier it is, okay? So let's go down here. These are what the problems will look like. Now before, remember the equations, or the steps, Harshan, remember the steps over there? Label, write your equation, substitute, and solve or simplify. Now with the point slope, it actually gets a little simpler because we don't really have to do step number 4. Okay, Harshan? So we still need to label. Now we have 1 point, right? So I'm going to label this x, y. Now when I write my equation is no longer y equals mx plus b, but it's y minus y1 equals m times the quantity of x minus x1. And now I have to substitute. Ready, Andrew? What is y?
7.
So we're going to do y minus 7 equals, what's m, Nate? 2. Times x minus, Neve, what is x1? Or x? -5. All right? And then 2 negatives make it positive. Okay? So these x's and y's, all right, right there, those are staples. They don't change. So maybe I should write in up here x1, y1. And that's it. Problem's done. Jack, you writing this down? All right. Why don't you guys try number 2? So remember, start out by labeling. Okay, label your point. Write the equation. And then substitute. All right, Emma, what's your first step, Emma?
Do we like write the equation, or do we just put like substitute?
So before that, so writing our equation step number 2 and substitute number 3.
Label.
Label. So we're going to label our point x1, y1. Jordan, what's step number 2? Jordan? Or not? Delaney?
Write the equation.
Write the equation. So I'm going to write y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And Angela, what's my last step? Angela?
Substitute.
Yeah, substitute. So I'm going to do y minus -4 equals 1/2 times x minus 3. Two negatives make a positive, so I can just write it as y plus 4. Pretty easy, right, Neve? Okay. Now, how does it look when I give you kind of 2 points? So remember, in the last section, we started out by I gave you M and I gave you B, and then you just had to plug it in, right, Harshan? It was slope intercept, right? So the name of the game was find your slope, find your intercept. When I gave that to you, all you had to do was plug it in. Now with point slope, what's in the name? A point and a slope, right? So if I give you a point and the slope, there's not much work you have to do. You just have to plug it in like we did. Now the next step from there is, what if I don't give you a slope, right? I always have to give you a point, Harshan. But what if I don't give you a slope? What do you think we're going to have to find? The slope. So first thing we need to do is remember, label our points, x1, y1, x2, y2, because we have 2 points. Kanye, what's our next step? If you forget, it's on the board. Write my equation. Now, Harshan told me I'm looking for my slope, so I'm going to write that equation of y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And Liam, what's our next step? Liam? All right. Drew?
Yeah.
What's our next step?
Substitute.
Substitute. So we're going to do n equals -2 minus 2 over 3 minus 1. And the last step is to solve / simplify. So -2 minus 2 is -4. 3 minus 1 is 2. -4 over 2 is -2. Now that I have my slope and I have a point. Andrew, which point do you like? 1, 2, or 3, -2? 1, 2. So we have a point and a slope, and now I'm just going to plug it in. So I have the point 1, 2, and my slope of -2. Let me just label it x1, y1. Write my equation. And then I substitute. So I get y minus 2 equals -2 times x minus 1. Pretty straightforward, right, Andrew? There's not too much to it. Okay? Now, how do I do a problem like number 4? So Matt, a problem like number 4, notice it doesn't look like this, does it? So here's the trick. This number in the parenthesis is your x, and this one is your y. So I just kind of drop it down into a point. And write it as 4, -2, and this would be the point 8, 4. Why don't you guys try to do that one on your own? So look at the one on the right and try to do the one on the, or look at the one on the left and try to do the one on the right. All right. So the first thing we want to do is we want to label our points so we can find our slope. So I'm going to label it x1, y1, x2, y2. Then I'm going to write my equation. Then I'm going to substitute. We're going to do 4 minus negative 2 over 8 minus 4. Then I'm going to solve / simplify. 2 negatives make a positive here, so it's going to be 6 over 4, which is 3 over 2. So I have my slope. I need to pick a point. I'm going to choose the point 8, 4. So I have the point 8, 4, and my slope of 3 over 2. So I'm going to label it x1, y1. I'm going to write my formula. And then I'm going to substitute. So I get y minus 4 equals 3 over 2 x minus 8. Were you guys able to get that? All right. So Sophie, with this problem it says, the student council is ordering custom foam hands to promote school spirit. The table shows the cost of ordering different number of foam hands. Use a linear model, okay, equation in point slope form, that represents the cost as a function of the number of foam hands. Write the equation in slope intercept form. Okay, so there's a lot going on with this question. Notice it says started out in slope point slope form and then converted to slope intercept. Sophie, are you okay with what the question is asking?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I need two things. I need a point and a slope. Well, let's tackle the slope first. Now, up here, the top, okay, the number of foam hands is going to be x, and the cost is going to be y. Because cost depends on the number of foam hands. So that means x is going to be the top, y is going to be the bottom. Now, Sophie, how do I go from 4 to 6?
2.
2. I added 2. And how do I go from 6 to 8?
You add another 2.
Add 2. So I think you guys can see. Oh. I think you guys can see that to go from one box to another, or from one point to another, I'm adding 2. All right. Now let's look at the cost. How do I go from 34 to 46, Sophie? Sophie?
Yeah, can you not hear? I said 12.
All right, you said 12? Awesome. We're adding 12. So notice, to go from one point here, or one box to another, we're adding 12. Now, why am I showing you this? Well, this is kind of like your slope. Notice, between 2 points, or 2 y values, that's considered the change in y. So the change in y is 12, and the change in x is 2. So 12 over 2 is 6. So notice, pretty quickly, I was able to get my slope. Now I need a point. Doesn't matter what point I choose. Let's go ahead and choose this point right here. So that's the point 10 and 70. I liked it because they were both, like ending in 0. Nice, easy whole numbers. All right, my slope is 6. And it says, use the linear model, the equation in point slope form to convert it to slope intercept form. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to label this x1, y1. I'm just going to plug it in. So I got y minus 70 equals 6 times x minus 10. Now here's the trick, Neve. Slope intercept form. What was that? Do you remember? What was the test on? What was the equation we used over and over and over again? All right, you have me at y equals, right? Y equals. Y is by itself, right? So the name of the game to take it from point slope to slope intercept is to get y by itself, right? So first thing I want to do is I want to take this equation and I want to get y by itself, but I need to distribute that 6 first. Okay? That's going to give me y minus 70 equals 6x minus 60. How would you get rid of minus 70, Neve?
I would add the 70.
Y equals 6x plus 10. There you go. Pretty straightforward, right, Neve? Harshan, do you see how we went from one to the other? So this is an important, how would you say, an important equation, but it's just not used as much, okay? We spend a lot of time talking about y equals mx plus b, not a lot of time with this. Any questions? All right.